Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am, as you can tell by the title, going to be talking about and doing a little bit of an analysis on the playable Sandalphon. I apologize, I don't know exactly how to say his name. I think the way they said his name is Sandalphon. But anyways, um, there has been a data mine, a leak, something, whatever you want to call it, where Sandalphon has been, I guess, data mined, or we could see his skills, we could see everything about him. Now, granted, some things are missing. In other words, the names of his skills, I think, are missing, in addition to, I guess, like the icons as well. So whether or not you'll actually be able to see what the skills do or what they actually, the skills descriptions is probably not available specifically in this video, but I will include this video for those of you that want to watch it yourself. Apologies, still a little bit sick, but I do want to kind of just go over what we've seen from his kit. And honestly, why I think he's probably going to be one of the most insane characters that the game has to offer. And that's even after us having seen Tuyen and Xiofan. Sorry about that. Let's get into it. So, as you can see, Sandalphon, or the fight, begins. It's like a training dummy fight. And all this looks very casual. You've got like his normal attacks. It looks like he has a lunge attack, which is like one of the first skills that they show off here. Another heavy slash, which is also fine. A lot of characters in Granblue have these. They have the quintessential lunge into big AoE or big single target DPS skill. There's also a ranged attack. We don't know exactly what some of these skills do, of course, because we don't have the description. And honestly, seeing the animations themselves, hopefully in higher quality, is a blessing in of itself if you're curious about the way that Sandalphon works. But something that you may have just seen there was that after the big orb, the last skill that we have showcased here is Sandalphon giving himself an attack, defense, and crit rate buff. For those of you that are curious about how impactful that is, it's very impactful. Now, ultimately, whether or not you actually choose to use this as opposed to just maxing out all your damage caps anywhere, is kind of neither here nor there. Most people will inevitably end up using stuff like supplementary buffs instead, because trying to not have max damage and rely on attack buffs or even crit rate buffs is kind of, I would say, iffy. It's a little bit niche, just because if there's ever downtime, or if you get downed, or if you get one shot, you aren't actually able to reapply or have full benefit for your buffs. So in that case, a lot of people relying on these buffs, it's kind of here or there. You don't really gain anything outside of, again, the crit, the attack, and the defense buff, which could help if you're trying not to get one shot. But whether or not you're going to give yourself only 50% crit rate or less attack in order to just use your buff, it's not the same as something like Lancelot if you're going to use Stout. If you're going to be using one of his buffs for like supplementary damage, which again stacks, where again the attack buff here doesn't overcap your total damage dealt. Long story short, it's probably, I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not it would actually be worth it to have this buff. Moving along though, he shows off, or the video itself shows off, a couple of different like animations or skills, what like the heavy attack, the different combos are. These look extremely, extremely cool. But I can definitely see myself, and there's also, there's the ultimate here, and ultimately, with all SBA or, Skybound arts, it just does a lot of damage. It's cool, but nothing really super crazy to write home about, aside from the animation, which does look cool. But as you can see, kind of like to my point, there are no skills. Some of the skills will say damage, and it looks like he's earth-based, but this is a leak, so whether or not, it's specific, or it's a data mine, or whatever you want to call it, so whether or not they actually end up staying earth, not sure. But the showcase, replaces all of his skills now with another set of skills, presumably so that you can see the rest of them. In all honesty though, like based on what we've seen here, this is a super cool looking animation, regardless if it ends up being really bad, because obviously, there's a bit of time where you're in the air and, you have to pause there. But the dodge that he has also looks really cool. He looks like a very highly maneuverable character. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what his heavy attack is. So akin to Lancelot's dodge. But a lot of the skills that you see here are just damage dealing skills. There are probably certain skills here that knock up. This one, or, among some of the other skills, all look like they just either provide some level of stun power or knock up. But we don't have the exact description for anything else that we have. And then arguably the coolest part of Sandalphon, his kit, is going to be this charge up that he does at some point. I don't really understand because it looked like half of his kit was him dodging and then half of it wasn't. Or, you know, that's what I had assumed his heavy attack was. Whatever the case is, it looks like he has a couple of dodges. And then he has the coolest part of his kit, which is he kind of just like charges up and then he just becomes an angel and has like another set of, you know, skills. So he is akin to, or the way that I'd kind of perceived or interpreted this was the kind of like the id transformation. Now, whether or not, you know, he's going to play like id, you know, it's too early to tell. But these skills that he have here, or that he has here, are crazy. He's got a heal. He's got like a lunge. So again, some of the skills are still kind of similar, kind of how id's skills in his human versus like, you know, transformed mode are also similar. But the bashing, like the endless slashing, the lunges, being able to attack from range, as you see here, just ridiculous. In terms of not only like ease of playability, but even just like convenience. This is probably going to be a character that a lot of people will probably gravitate to, not only because he's one of the most popular characters in Granblue Fantasy. By the way, I don't know if his Skybound art also changes. I'm assuming it just did because obviously he just did it with wings. But whether or not that's actually functional, a functional change or just like a visual change, unsure yet. But look at how much stun power, how much impact, like, and just how ridiculous the playstyle of, you know, Sandalphon's kit is, especially once you transform into like this winged, you know, this transformative, like, you know, angel form. This looks ridiculous. This is pretty much, I would say, arguably the coolest sword character, not only just in terms of animation, but in terms of kit that we've seen thus far. I think he is changing a few of the additional skills, but based on what I had originally seen, these additional skills that he has access to or that he's about to show, not the craziest. Again, like, it's just kind of more damage dealing skills, and obviously none of these skills matter too much until we actually see how much damage it does. But I think he might also have a parry that looked like a parry where he was kind of just holding his sword out in the front. Of course, though, these are all, you know, TB announced or could change in the future. But just based off of what we've seen, they're likely not going to change too much of what the animations look like. What they actually give you may change. But like, come on, guys. Like, this is like one of the craziest looking characters that I've ever seen. I'm happy that he has so much love, it looks like, poured into the kit and design of his character. But ultimately, again, guys, I just kind of wanted to give my initial like thoughts and kind of impressions of Sandalphon. There's also just like an extremely long pause here, just in case you guys are curious. But long story short, the takeaways from this video, and again, thank you to Sora 3100 for this video. But long story short, my impressions of the character are that he's probably going to be one of the, you know, unless if his damage is really low, he's probably going to be one of the damage-oriented or damage-focused characters. It doesn't look like he has much stun. That being said, though, you can't really tell, like, or it's not a very good indicator to see whether or not he has CCs or anything like that with the dummy. But since he's going to be a damage dealer, I expect him to be, not only since he's popular, but I expect him to be on the same tier as a character like Narmaya or Charlotta, because these are not necessarily just like fan servicey characters, but they also, or I should say, not only do these characters look like really cool in terms of design, they are the most popular, which means that making him a low damage character akin to someone like Rosetta seems unlikely, especially because this is kind of going to be the content for like the next couple of months, or I believe they announced him for May or slated him for May. But insane damage. He looks, I wouldn't say he looks easier or easy to play, but it looks like he has a wide range of options for how to fight. It looks like he can attack from range by, you know, like, I guess slashing and also like, you know, shooting out lightning or whatever it is at people. But he also just has like the melee, like he's like in melee form, but also just hits from far range. That in addition to like the buffs among all the other things that he has in his kit, in my opinion, slates him to be one of the up and coming like insane DPS. And ultimately, if you just like playing Sandalphon, whatever the character's name is, if you just like playing him, or if you just like playing characters, this is one of the coolest characters, and I highly suggest or recommend you try and see how cool he is, or try him out a little bit. If nothing else, though, guys, regardless of his kit, it looks like he has really cool looking animations. I do expect him to be on the higher end again, though, because he is a popular character, and they're probably not going to make a character that does low damage. But with all the character changes and adjustments and class adjustments that they've added to the game, who knows? When Sandalphon comes out, he might be good. He might get buffed if he's not good enough. But yeah, anyways, that was basically all I had. I will, again, include this video in the description. But very excited for this character. I've been fighting Lucilius, and especially for the Lucilius fight, this character looks like he would be really good for it. And of course, he's a guest in the fight anyways, with the way that he actually, you know, gets featured. So I'm really excited for this. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Thanks again for all the support that you guys have been showing me recently. I just wanted to do a bit of a breakdown for this character because if you haven't seen him already, he's really cool. But yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a lovely Saturday morning whenever I post this. Probably going to be Saturday morning. See you all next time, though. Goodbye. Let me know what you guys want to see next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See ya. See ya. Goodbye.